Greetings, my fellow theorists. Hi, and welcome out there. You just caught me at the moment whilst I'm chilling by my virtual tent at my campfire on this frozen lake. Yeah, I do hope that doesn't melt. Whilst admiring the Aurora Borealis, otherwise known as the Northern Lights. You know, I once read in a I used to read the Northern Lights book before it got renamed to the Golden Compass. It is not the Golden Compass. It shall always and forever will be the Northern Lights in my mind. Yeah, there are no compasses in it, and they're not golden. It's called an alethiometer. Yeah, sorry for babbling. For those of you who don't know what I was talking about, I was just talking about his Dark Materials book trilogy. Is it trilogy or is it four-parter? Anyway, as I was saying before, things are getting a little bit sparse on the ground for material to use, so I thought I'd just take a few moments just chilling and relaxing in these little VR environments and just give you a few notes. Let's see what we've got. Escape has just uploaded a video for Hitman. Okay, sorry. So I just got an alarm on my phone. Yeah, so I'll just chill out and give you some thoughts, just to, yeah, my thoughts and theories. And today, my thoughts and theories are on the universe. Just to let you know, this is not scripted. It's not. I didn't make any notes beforehand. I'm just totally ad-libbing this. Although I think, in a certain essence, that I should have actually made some notes, or even an intro, or even key points. I'm kind of, yeah, winging it here. Well, I'll just sitting down here. Oh yeah. Let's see if I throw it. Okay, that doesn't throw. Okay, so I once used to have a saying that I used to very much enjoy saying, and that was, in an infinite universe, anything is possible. I mean, for instance, if a man like Donald Trump could become Prime Minister, hey, maybe I'll hit the jackpot and get my millions of pounds through subscribing, through subscribers on YouTube, or through sales of my books, or, you know, do something that might be positive and beneficial for mankind. So, as I said, unfortunately, when I come to think about the universe, a few things. Let me just get one thing straight here. I am not a scientist. I am no way or any way affiliated with any science. I'm a jack of all trades, and as a jack of all trades, I certainly dabble and watch and study up on quite a few things. I mean, I've studied up on things like quantum mechanics, rocket science, thermodynamics, and everything from the macroscopic to the great beyond. I've tried to study them all. And what is this university that I've studied at? The greatest university of all. The University of YouTube. Everything that I've studied, you guys can find out for yourself right here on YouTube, just by clicking and finding, and that's where I pretty much got most of my knowledge from. And as it comes to science, we have a key. When it comes to science, it is the opposite of what most people would think as religion. In religion, people have an absolute faith or belief in something. But science is not a faith or a belief system. It's the opposite. Science is a disbelief system. Basically, you come up with someone say, I'm going to give you this information. That information is my fact. And then science comes along and shoots like a minigun of actual factual bullets at this theory and make loads of little holes in it until you've actually left with what is possibly the truth. For example, let's say my theory is the moon is made up of Swiss cheese, and so science will take that information on board. Okay, we think that it's made out of Swiss cheese. Why is it white? Why is it not yellow, which is what the colour of cheese should be? Let's send a man to the moon and actually probe the ground, and we find out that it's not actually soft and edible, but hard and rocky-like. And then we find out that it's not Swiss cheese at all. So we just throw lots of actual information and facts and find out what is the truth from what is told to be the truth. So someone tells us something and we say, well, let's find out if you're right or wrong. I'm not going to believe it until we've proven it. So what I say here on my thoughts and theories of the universe is just my thoughts and theories of someone who's not a scientist, just come up with these ideas on my own. And yeah, you can take them for what they are. If you are any actual scientists out there, tell me what you think. See if am I talking a load for bourgeois, or am I might have some actual grounds behind it. Oh, and yeah, as another thing, these aren't actual theories. I'm not writing a book about these. I'm not making any sort of publications or anything like that. What you could say, it's more of a hypothesis. No one wants to hear hypotheses, but they want to hear theories rather than hypotheses. But still, that's sort of what they are, hypotheses, really. Now, going back to that little saying, space, the universe, it's infinite in its entirety, and in an infinite universe, everything is possible. Except that's wrong. This is not an infinite universe. My thoughts is that infinity, the word infinite does not exist. Infinite is a mathematical concept we invented, a mathematical concept that we invented to describe things that are beyond our comprehension. For some, let's just say someone would say black holes, when a sun collapses, it collapses down into its infinite density and forms a black hole. I said I think that's very wrong, very incorrect. Nothing is infinite. Nothing can even possibly nothing can possibly become infinite, even infinite density, because the physics of our universe can't work like that. Infinity is just a number that we made up. The density of a black hole is vast, far greater than what we can comprehend or calculate or understand. Our most powerfulest computers would not even be able to understand how dense the matter is inside a black hole. But it's not infinite. They say that a black hole has infinite power. If it has infinite power, it will suck up and destroy the universe in an infinitely small amount of time. Whoop, gone. There we go. Before you even know it, the entire universe will be gone. I don't think that's even going to be possible. It's not within our physics of this universe. So what's outside the universe? If the universe is not infinite in its size and in extent, then it must have an edge. Yes, it has an edge. What's outside that edge? Nothing. What do you mean, nothing? There's got to be something. No, there doesn't have to be. The edge of the universe is where our physics and where our physical universe ends. There can't be anything outside of that universe, or what I refer to as zero-dimensional space. Now, it's going to be very hard to understand, hard for you to ask concepts of what I mean by zero-dimensional space, because let's see, you can't. How did I put it before? You cannot conceive of a zero. Yeah, you cannot conceive of a zero-dimensional concept because you are a three-dimensional construct. You are trying to understand things that are outside of your own bounds of reality. So what the heck am I talking about? I don't know. I think to just try and get an idea or basics of what I think is going on when it comes to the universe in its entirety, you have to go back right to the very beginning, right to the start of the universe, before all of creation, before the Big Bang, before atoms even existed, when nothing and only zero-dimensional space existed. A place that had no time, no matter, no space, no dimensions, nothing. One place was everywhere, and everywhere was one place. Nothing. And in this nothingness, this void, this spacelessness, in this zero-dimensional space, physics that we know does not exist. It is a completely different type of physics than what we know. For example, let's just take some mathematical concepts, right? 0 plus 0 equals 0 for us in our physical universe. 0 plus 0 equals 0. 1 plus 1 equals 1, and so on. But going back into that that zero-dimensional space, before time, before anything, 0 plus 0 could have possibly equaled 0.000000001, because physics works differently before time existed, before anything existed. And from that 0.0000001, from no time passing at all to eons, we can't say, because there is no time in there. An instant, eternity, the same things. And 0.00001 became matter, a single tiny speck, smaller than an atom, smaller than a quark, smaller than the smallest part that you could ever think. What we might refer today as what we call the God particle. That speck, that fermentation, or whatever you might call it, became 2, became 4, became 8, and increased exponentially. And when it formed its own gravity, falling each other in to create things like atoms, to create the parts of the atoms. The atoms became more solid. They became bigger and bigger and bigger until it formed something the size of a garden pea, but the density of our entire universe. And it exploded. It exploded with a massive bang, so big that it created our universe. Everything started from that one explosion. Time, dimensions, first, second, third dimensions, all up, and all the others that you may think about if you believe in string theory. Everything came from that one explosion. But that explosion, before it happened, existed in zero-dimensional space. So everywhere was nowhere, and nowhere was everywhere. And it expanded and created a bubble inside this zero-dimensional space where we currently inhabit in this universe here, in this universe around us. It's expanding inside this zero-dimensional space. So therefore, nowhere finally became somewhere, and it got bigger and bigger, and over the billions of years that the time it created, we become now. So now I've said this, my little bit about the beginning of the universe and my thoughts on zero-dimensional space. So if you go to the edge of space, go to the very edge of the universe and find that barrier of where we can exist to where we cannot, you will enter the zero-dimensional space and become, I don't know, probably, if it's nowhere is everywhere and everywhere is nowhere, if you exit out, you'll probably come back in from the other side of the universe. I don't know, a little thought, a little hypothesis. Like I said, it's not a theory. I'm not a scientist. I mean, I could be talking total bourgeois at the moment. But that's for you to decide. Am I totally bonkers in what I'm thinking? Do I might have some sort of elements of sense to what I'm saying? I don't know. It may be. I'm sure there's probably lots more that I was going to say, but I think that I'll save that for another video. Until then, happy space flights, happy thoughts. And I really do wish there was a quick off button. Here we go.